Shalom. All praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the hopeful elect Akim that teaching this word. Shalom Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah Kodash. As you can see here, this a video I came across on the social media. There's a lot of these popping up on the algorithm, and basically it just touched on a little bit of history in the 1800s with the natives of Peru, basically, and some of the stuff that they suffered, which we know the natives of Peru are the tribe of Asher. They're the tribe of Asher, of the nation of Israel, and basically this is just some of the stuff that the British Empire or the British funded over there, basically, because people are arguing on the comment boards, it was it was Peruvians that were corrupt that did this, but it was funded by Britain. No, really, it was controlled by Britain, all right? Because the power source came from Britain. Because at this time, this time, the British Empire was pretty much controlling a lot of the planet at this time. It was a powerful empire, right? The British Empire was powerful. They controlled most of the planet. The pound was the most powerful currency during this period. They basically, most things going on in the world, they either funded or had direct hands in involvement in the situations over there. All right. So let me play this here, a little bit of what Esau did to our people, because the Peruvians would be the tribe of Asher. All right. They would be the tribe of Asher, the people over there in Peru, the Peruvian Indians, as they're known today, the Incas, are the tribe of Asher. Okay. So let me play a little bit of this here, and I'm going to read some scriptures, because this is the history of Esau, right? This is how, and this was, I believe, for rubber. I believe for the natural resource of rubber. But this is what Esau done, man, all over the world, all right? And this is in the 1800s, It ain't even that long ago, 1879, not that long ago, all right? So let me play this here.
9. Peru. Deep in the Amazon, a British-backed company rounds up entire tribes, the Huitoto, Bora, and Doke. They are forced to collect wild rubber, given impossible quotas. Those who fail are dragged forward. Their hands are hacked off with machetes.
And remember, see, when we teach the history of Esau with, the Spanish conquistadors, with the Indian tribes, with the Jakes of North, South, Central America, all right, and what they did in Hispaniola, what they did to the tribe of Ephraim. There's not many movies on that. Like, there's a lot of movies on Judah's captivity, but there's not a lot of movies and things of that nature on the Northern Kingdom. But there's a lot of images. We used to have those images, they'll like what you're seeing here in this picture here. We used to have those drawings, but now through this AI and stuff, people are bringing this kind of stuff out as well, which gives you a little visual look at it. But it's pretty sad, there's not a lot. There is information out there, but there's not a lot of movies made on the destruction of the Indies, or the destruction of the tribes, from Esau, Columbus, and Cristobal Colon and his cronies, and the history that the pain they inflicted on our people over there, man. So this has been going on, all right? And Esau, the Edomites, they're gonna pay for all of this, all right? They're gonna pay for all of this.
Heads cut off. The severed limbs are piled up as proof. Women are taken hostage, raped in front of their families. Children are beaten and starved. Villages that resist are burned to the ground. The jungle runs red with blood. A Peruvian businessman named Julio Cesar Arana enslaves 50,000 indigenous people. He brings overseers from Barbados, men who learned brutality on sugar plantations. They flog workers until their bones show, left to die where they fall. Some are burned alive for trying to escape. Others are hunted.
This is because on the comment boards I was reading it, and Esau will always say, well, it was their own people doing this to each other, etc., etc. Well, you're always going to have sellouts among our own people, man, that work for the masters, all right, work for their masters. That's always going to be the case. But the empire behind it and the control behind it all goes back to the Edomites, okay? That's who controls and funds these atrocities. And that's just what it is. That's the fact.
Through the jungle like animals, shot for sport. By 1906, the region has 50,000 indigenous people, but by 1911, only 8,000 remain. Over 40,000 dead in 5 years. Arana takes his operation international. He registers the Peruvian Amazon Company on the London Stock Exchange. British investors pour in £1 million. 3 British directors join the board. They profit while the killing continues. In 1909, an American engineer named Walter Hardenberg exposes the atrocities. The British public is outraged. By 1910, the government sends Roger Casement to investigate. What he finds is worse than King Leopold's Congo. Floggings, mutilations, mass graves. In 1911, the British Parliament launches an investigation. Arana blames his employees, says he didn't know. By 1913, the company is liquidated. British directors walk away with their profits. No one is prosecuted.
So there you go. So do you see that? It said so it's controlled by Britain. Now they funded it, and they did this in their. See, the British Empire did this. I've got scriptures lined up, but they did this also. See, the British, they did this also with their plantations in the Caribbean. It would be Edomites over here in England that don't see what's going on over in those countries, the atrocities that they're committing, but they have overseers and people they're paying to do the management and the management of those plantations for them. And when the plantations went down, you know, the actual Israelites that was over there slaving and toiling away didn't get paid. The compensation went to the British that were over here in England, just like you see here. So they were doing this throughout the world, all right? Once they established their power, they would set up these companies throughout the world while they were murdering and destroying people, but the company would be registered over here. And when they supposedly investigate this stuff and it collapses, who gets paid out? The devils that was over here funding it. So it's all controlled. It was all controlled by them, man. They knew exactly what was going on. But these people are the wicked. This is what you got to understand. The so-called white man is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And this is how they've earned their profit in the world. All right, by doing things like this to our people.
Arana returns to Peru, becomes a senator, dies at 88, free and wealthy. The Barbadian overseers are never punished. In 2012, Colombia finally apologizes. Peru never does. The indigenous survivors fled deep into the forest. Their descendants remain isolated. The rubber stopped flowing when British companies started plantations in Malaysia. Cheaper rubber. No need for the Putumayo anymore. The killing just stopped. 1870.
So the Lord's coming back to avenge our people. And the people that happened to was the tribe of Asher, and no justice was given to them. Like I said, they fled deeper into the mountains. So, you know, they fled deeper into the hills and the mountain regions of Peru. And they're still around today, man. See? But this was all committed by Esau. And you know what? Also, it mentioned the Peruvian government was involved in this situation. But you see, what you got to understand is even with South America, a lot of the elite people in power over there are all Amalekites. They're all so-called white men. They're all descendants of Spaniards. They're all descendants of, you know, so-called Jews. They're all like so-called Jews and all that up there. They're not actually indigenous people as the prime ministers and the people in power of those governments. No, it's the Edomites, all right? And they said they died wealthy, but they're going to be judged in the world to come. Okay? Let me read this here. This is Psalms 55 and 20. It says, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace. He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. All right? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Yeah, well, this is the point. He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. Even Cristobal Colon, you know, he writ that in his memoirs. Cristobal Colon writ in his memoirs, you know, these people are extremely peaceful, you know, but he was plotting against our people. When he arrived to Hispaniola, what was the first things he said? He said these people are extremely peaceful. It would take I can't remember how many men he said. It would take 100 men to subdue them. Basically, if they brought weapons to kill them and enslave them, that was their plan all along. So our people was at peace with these devils. And that was all throughout North, South, and Central America. All right? when they encountered our people, all right? Because the land was already inhabited. You didn't discover anything when the land was inhabited, but you put forth your hands against such as be at peace with you. This is what Esau did. It says he had broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's the so-called white man. Talks peacefully, talks politics and all that bullshit about, what that says that in Revelation. They spake as a lamb, but they were a dragon. That's the so-called white man for you, man. But the world has woken up to these Edomites now. But that's what Esau does. He talks smooth things, but really he has a sword in the back of his hand. So he talks peacefully and how he wants to resolve things and whatever. But then he wants to kill you, really. That's Esau. Let's hash out plans so we can share and etc., etc. But he really inwardly wants to kill you. That's happening now with Iran. Iran, they've already said we are not backing down from America because we tried years ago to make treaties with the American government and they broke them all. That keeps coming out. So Iran is hell bent on just continuing the war with America. They basically want Babylon to be destroyed. All right? Because they keep coming out and saying that the Iranian government, it keeps coming. You keep seeing it. We're not going to back down on the war because Babylon, always breaks their agreement with us. So you're seeing that in real life today. But that was also happening with our people, man. So it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So that's Esau for you. Let's hash out plans. Let's share this land. Let's work together. But really, his plan is to really kill you and take what you have. The Native Americans, they understood that well because all the treaties they signed with Esau, all of them were broken. All right? Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. It says, he shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But thou, O power, shalt bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. So they're going to be judged anyway. Even the ones these devils that have passed on this wealth all these years, these hundreds of years, all right, of the atrocities they've committed and passed on wealth, they're going to be judged for it in the world to come. They're going to slavery in the next world when Yahushua returns. They're going to be our subject. They're going to be our subjects. All right. So in other words, those Jakes that have suffered all this, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans that have suffered and died in the past, for Esau to have what he has today, we're gonna get our payback on these devils in the world to come. See, the roles are gonna be reversed. Okay. So let me read this here. This is Baruch 4:25. But it's good because I see those those posts on the social media, and the good thing about it is that it kind of brings some of the imagery of the stuff that's happened to life, like in quick news reels, like quick information. It gives you a quick little video clip of some history, and events that have taken place with our people and the imperialism of America and Britain, the Edomite Empire. Okay. Baruch 4:25. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from the power, for thine enemy have persecuted thee. But shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shalt tread upon his neck. Yeah, so suffer patiently. The Lord said for us, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we need to suffer patiently the atrocities that have come upon us, man. Okay? So we got to suffer this BS basically. Okay? For thine enemy have persecuted thee, and these devils have been persecuting us. These Edomites, these so-called white people, they have lived to persecute us, all right? Here is they've destroyed our people, destroyed us economically, mentally, destroyed us as a nation, took away our identity. And they still want to continuously destroy. Really, the plan of the elites was to really do their best to get rid of the Israelites, but that's not how the Lord wants this story to go. It's not how the Lord set it up. This is the Heavenly Father's movie, and we was never set up to be completely done away with. Okay, so it says, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shalt tread upon his neck. Exactly. So our time's coming where we're going to tread upon their neck, like they've tread upon our necks. Well, the Lord is now easing up our captivity. He's slowing up he's reversing the captivity that's been upon us, and he's going to now bring it on the Edomites. All right? Because you can actually see that, if you got the spiritual eye to see, you can see that the so-called white man, his world is coming to its end. His system, his way of life, his whole way of life is now coming to its end, basically. All right? This is the time that we're in. Okay? His time is coming to its end. His way of life is coming to its end. His system is coming to its end. And the tables are turning. All right? And the prophecy is taking place. And it's leading to this Armageddon, man, which will finally end the power of the Edomites. Okay? After that nuclear war. So it says, my delicate ones have gone rough ways and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemy. And we've gone rough ways, all right? And that, that little imagery you saw of Peru, that's part of that, man, going rough ways, being slaughtered. What did those people do? They were just, it's a judgment from Yahweh Shai, of course, on our people. But those people were just on their land, living there, all right? And Esau, to drain the mineral resources of the land, will slaughter whole tribes, man. Okay? And our people are suffering from the effects of captivity till this day, okay? But Yahweh Shai is the one to reverse it. So it says, taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the power, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. And we are crying unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and it says we're going to be remembered. We're going to be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. So we're going to be remembered of the Lord. He's going to remember us, man. He's going to redeem us, so to speak. He's going to uplift us. He's going to bring us back to, our state of power. That's coming through Yahweh Shai. All right. And you can see the Lord's having mercy on us in these last days by pretty much, judging Esau's world. And, that's what's happening now. It's not cool to be a so-called white man anymore. That power that Esau once had is not there. It's not Esau, the so-called white man around the world globally. Is not looked at as, he's being looked down upon now because people are waking up to the fact that, these so-called white people, are wicked. Their system is wicked. All they've done is oppress people. All right. So you can see the tables are turning in the spirit. All right. It says, be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the power, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. And that's what we're doing now when we teach this word, when we go out and teach on the highways and byways. We're crying unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to redeem us, to deliver us. All right. It says, for as it was your mind to go astray from the power, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. For he that brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the joy through salvation, through Yahweh Shai, to deliver us, man. Because he's the one that brought this upon us, and he's the only one that can, reverse the roles on these devils. He's the only one that can, bring them down, basically. All right. So let me read this. Revelation 18, and I'll go from 4. It says, Revelation 18 and 4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And this is the Lord speaking to the elect. Come out of her, my people. Is talking about when them ships come and beam up the Israelites, man, the elect from America. Beam us up. Beam me up, Scotty, man. Beam us up with them chariots, man. From the chariots coming through the crack in them clouds, Yahweh Shai and the angels, the innumerable amount of chariots, ID4, Independence Day type stuff, man. And being beamed up into the ships is what we dream about, what we think about, what we know is what is coming. The prophecy says it. What we fucking meditate on, man. That's the thing. Meditate on, right? So it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Lord have remembered her iniquity. So the sins of America, and you can throw all of Esau, all of the so-called white man's power structure around the world. His sins have reached to the heavens, man. The wickedness of these Amalekites, the wickedness of the Great Britain, the wickedness of so-called Great Britain, the wickedness of America, the whole power structure of Esau, Edom, their sins are remembered unto the heavens, man. All right? And the Lord have remembered their iniquities. So everything they've done, the slaughtering of our people, the destruction of the northern kingdom, the slavery of Judah, all these things have been remembered by the Heavenly Father, man. So it says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. So this is the future of the so-called white man. He's going to be rewarded, and he's going to be reward. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you. How did they reward us? Slavery, death, destruction, murder, right? So that's how they're going to be rewarded. They're going to be, well, we're not going to murder. We're going to righteously judge them. We're going to righteously enslave them. Because what they did to us was, you know, murder and all kind of wickedness, man. We ain't going to do the wickedness they did, but we're going to punish them, but we're going to do it in righteousness. So reward her even as she rewarded you. That's how they rewarded us, right? And double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she have filled, filled to her double. And that's America, Babylon the Great, and the whole system of the so-called white man. All right? They're gonna be rewarded double. So think about what they did to us, which was all this wickedness they done, all the evil they did to our people. Well, it's coming to them, and it's gonna be double. It's gonna be doubled unto them. Their cup of judgment is gonna be double unto them. So the future ain't good for the Esau and the other nations, man. But the future is good for our people. So we're gonna finally get, you know, like we always say it all the time, our redemption, man. So, you know, Lord willing, we'll be back again, you know, and these little information videos are pretty good, showing you the atrocities of Esau throughout the history towards our people, man. You know, but the prophecies or the Bible says they're going to be paid back for these things anyway. So that's what we patiently waiting for, man. The brothers that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. So with that, I'm going to say all praises unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect Akim that are teaching this word. Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Kodash. Shalom. Shalom.